Welcome to the April 15th Municipal Council meeting, which I'll now call to order. Madam Clerk, please ensure that the record of the meeting reflects that Mayor Haxon is absent with notice, and in her absence, I will chair this meeting. Moving on to Section B, declarations of interest. Do we have any declarations of interest tonight from Council? Seeing none, I will go on to our land acknowledgement. The town of East Gwillimbury recognizes and acknowledges the lands originally used and occupied by the First Peoples of the Williams Treaties, First Nations, and other Indigenous peoples. And on behalf of Council, I thank them for sharing this land. We also acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation as EG's closest First Nation community and recognize the unique relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and environmental stewards of these lands, and we join them in these responsibilities. Now moving on to item D, deputations. We have none at this time. Item E, none at this time. And now on to item F, committee recommendations, and that we adopt item number 1, we adopt the Committee of the Whole Council recommendations for the meeting held on April 1st, 2025. Be it resolved that Council adopt the Committee of the Whole Council recommendations from the meeting held on April 1st, 2025. Do I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Leahy, seconded by Councillor Foster. All those in favor? It's carried. We'll move on to item 2, to adopt the Committee of the Whole recommendations from the meeting held on April 15th, 2025. And if I could ask staff, if you could share those on the screen for us to see. That was for a same-day ratification. Okay. So this is, you have the, I won't read it all out, but you have them before you. Can I have a mover and a seconder for this, please? Moved by Councillor Carruthers, seconded by Councillor Leahy. Everyone had a chance to read? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item G, we have adoption of minutes. To adopt the Committee of the Whole Council minutes from the meeting held on April 1st, 2025. Be it resolved that Council adopt the Committee of the Whole Council minutes for the meeting held on April 1st, 2025. I need a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Roy D. Clemente, seconded by Councillor Foster. All those in favor? It's carried. Item number 2, to adopt the council minutes from the following meetings: special meeting held on April 1st, 2025, and regular meeting held on April 1st, 2025. Councillor Roy D. Clemente.
I'm happy to move them, but I did have a question regarding the minutes from the regular meeting held on April 1st. It related to correspondence that we received from, it was item I1, which is correspondence from C. Glenn regarding the implementation of commemorative initiatives regarding Mr. Potts. We just received that, that correspondence, but the correspondence actually asked us to allow for a commemorative bench and a tree to be installed at the site. And so I just wanted to see if there was a way, obviously the minutes are as reflected, but I didn't know, Madam Clerk, if you could help me with this one, if I would need a separate resolution to provide direction.
We can, I believe, we can move the minutes, but then reconsider the item and revisit. Madam Clerk, could you?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's correct. In accordance with Section 18 of the procedure bylaw, when a matter has been decided by members, within 6 months of the matter being decided, through a majority vote, it can be reconsidered. So if you would like to proceed with the adoption of the minutes, the next item could be consideration of a motion to reconsider,
okay, and
then opening up the floor for that item to come back.
Sounds good. So we have a mover with Councillor Roy D. Clemente to move the minutes. Councillor Johns, would you like to second? Yep, okay. All those in favor? Okay, carried. Now, who would like to, Councillor Roy D. Clemente, you can kick it off.
I'd like to make a motion for reconsideration regarding item I1, which was correspondence from C. Glenn regarding implementation of commemorative initiatives. at North Union Hall.
Seconded by Councillor Carruthers. I think this is important. It slipped through the cracks when we were dealing with it, and our zeal to recognize them. So, so we have a mover and a seconder. Is there any questions, further debate on this?
So at this point, Mr. Chair, I believe what we're doing is we're simply allowing for the motion for us to
Okay.
to reopen discussion, and then I have a second motion to.
Okay, we'll do it. All
Thank
right.
you.
So all in favor? Carried. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make a motion that we amend CWC recommendation 2025-064, that correspondence from C. Glenn regarding implementation of commemorative initiatives be received, and that we direct staff to adopt and implement those initiatives and waive the fees associated with the installation of the tree and the bench.
Okay, can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Leahy? Okay. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor? And that's carried. I think that was the right thing to do. Thank you, Councillor Roy DeClemente. Okay, so this brings us to correspondence for consideration. And we have item number 1, correspondence from M. Taggart, April 8th, 2025, regarding a Facebook post. We have a mover and a seconder for this, please.
For receipt.
For receipt. Councillor Carruthers, a seconder. Councillor Leahy. All right. Did anyone want to speak to this? You moved it, Councillor Carruthers, so if you'd like to speak to it.
Thank you. I have a question for staff. In the letter, it talks about the town's decision to remove the post raises additional concerns that may suggest alignment with the views expressed, which is disheartening. So I'm just wondering if staff can just comment on why the town's post was taken down. Thank you.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. When we became aware of the post and the derogatory and defamatory comments that were placed in relationship to the post, we immediately removed those comments and eventually removed the post in its entirety because it was only contributing to harm. And so we wanted to make sure that we weren't putting out a post that was contributing to that.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other comments, questions, or concerns? Councillor Roy DeClemente.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The letter has been addressed to all members of council, and usually our protocol is when that happens, the mayor's office acknowledges and responds on behalf of council. I don't think it's appropriate for staff to be tasked with responding to this correspondence, and so I think it's appropriate that we address it here so that staff can address this. And I believe there's another piece of correspondence on our agenda that's of a similar subject matter. So I think it would be appropriate if we were to be able to give direction to staff on how to respond to it. I don't think it's something, because it's about us and not about a town procedure or policy. I think it's appropriate for us to discuss it here.
Anyone else like to comment on this? Councillor Leahy.
Thank you very much, through you, Mr. Chair. Well, with regard to a response, because it was addressed to all of council members, I believe that if it's an apology is going to be made or whatever manner that it's going to be handled, I believe that that should come from the individual, not from all of council, because it was not a part of any discussion or policy or decision made in council chambers, and so as an individual councillor, I am not prepared to take responsibility for something that I did not say or do.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Carruthers.
Having navigated things like this at the school board, it is often when someone within the organization does something that harms the reputation of the organization responds. So I hear you and understand where you're coming from, that this wasn't us, this was an individual, but it's an individual who identified themselves as part of this deliberative body, and I think that therefore it weighs on us. So I would just add that for your consideration, that normally that is the procedure when someone from the organization does something like that to offer an apology on behalf of the organization. And it's an opportunity to set the record straight about what the organization stands for, to restate our beliefs. The comments were contrary to parts of our strategic plan, our idea framework, our inclusion charter. So I think it's an opportunity for the town to restate those parts of our operation that are so important to us.
Okay, Councillor Leahy.
Thank you very much, through you, Mr. Chair. Everyone on council should have respect and consideration for all members of the community, including other members of council, and honor various different perspectives. So, but I disagree in terms of the process and the response that should be taken by the town. Every member, there is a process in place, because every member of the community, of the public, of staff, and of council members have the ability to contact the Integrity Commissioner. She is an independent, objective, unbiased investigator, and so I don't believe that it's the role of a council as a whole to be judging the actions of another council member. And I also think that if there's, while I appreciate that we're discussing this because the letters of correspondence have come to us in public, and we can talk about those letters of correspondence that have been added to the agenda, and I think it's important to acknowledge those letters. I think whenever we consider matters to do with advisory committees, and whether it's to do with applications for members to join the advisory committee or resignations from advisory committees, we always do that in closed session. And so I think that I would like to respectfully suggest that that might be an appropriate place to discuss what response the town would have, rather than in a public session. Thank you.
Okay. Any other thoughts, comments that want to be shared? Councillor Carruthers?
Is the suggestion that we move into closed session? Because I believe we can do that. Can we not?
Madam Clerk?
Through you, Mr. Chair, just some clarity around what provision would council want to entertain to proceed into a closed session, because at this time we would have to, again, waive the rules of procedure and identify an appropriate exemption under the Municipal Act. So we would need some clarity as to what is the provision.
Councillor Carruthers?
Identifiable individual. So to Councillor Leahy's point, I'm trying to back up what Councillor Leahy's saying, that normally when we talk about individuals on committees, we're talking about it in closed session. So I'm looking to the clerk for some guidance on, is it possible for us to move into closed session to discuss this as per what I'm assuming is the request by Councillor Leahy?
Madam Clerk?
Through you, Mr. Chair, with respect to Section 239(2)B, which it deals with personal matters about identifiable individuals, conversations could include discussions around scrutiny of an individual's performance or conduct, candidates for a job or committee, education, allegations of an individual's possible violation of law. However, according to the Ontario Ombudsman closed meeting guide, if information is already in the public realm, that discussion cannot be held in a private forum. Salary band discussions, general working relationships, council's expenses, things like that will not be able to be discussed in closed session. So there is a bit of a parameter on that, and perhaps our town solicitor could provide some additional content as to the to this particular section.
Over to you, Ms. Ingram.
Thank you, and through you, Acting Mayor. This matter should not be going into closed session because the subject matter is actually in the public domain right now. By placing the two pieces of correspondence on this at this public meeting, that is now in the public realm. So if you were planning to discuss something about this, you'd have to do it out here.
Okay, so there's our answer. We have a motion to receive this correspondence unless there's anything else to add. Councillor Carruthers, yeah, sorry, Councillor Johns, you haven't spoken yet, so I'm going to give the floor to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I recognize the topics of the correspondence, and they contain some recommendations from the correspondence, and so I just wanted to speak to that because I apologize that my unfortunate comments have led us to today's discussion, and I want to speak briefly addressing both my social media comment and once again to publicly express my apology. I know my values and who I am. I know many of my colleagues do too. My comments on the town's post about Asexuality Day were wrong. My misguided feeling that as a town there were other priority items needing to be addressed was wrong. I want to be clear. I know it is the municipality's responsibility to make everyone feel welcome, heard, and loved. That's my job too. And I made a profound mistake. I have stood with my colleagues and friends in the 2SL LGBTQIA+ community and marched in New York Pride. I proudly attended flag raisings and Pride crosswalk celebrations. And earlier this year, as President Trump was abandoning people in the US for how they identify, I made an impromptu statement at council to the community recognizing and valuing them, because I know many of them have been feeling greater fear as of late. I've worked continuously to support the 2SL LGBTQIA community. It's how I was raised. It's how I'm raising my kids. And I unreservedly apologize to the asexual community, town, and staff, and colleagues on council. I made a mistake, and I'm working to right my wrong. And for some, I may have lost your confidence. But my hope is to demonstrate through actions and words going forward that this is the lesson I've learned. For some, it may take quite a while to appreciate where my heart really is. And I feel I'm able to still bring value to the role of council liaison and will continue to bring listening, learning, and passion to the role. If anything, I'm more acutely aware of the importance of my words and actions. And I just wanted to thank you, Mr. Chair, for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Councillor Johns, for your words. Councillor Carruthers, I believe you had another comment.
Yes, so I appreciate the apology. I hear that you are going to demonstrate through your actions, and so I'm hoping that one of those actions would be to step back from DIAC, let the healing happen with the people who are affected. I personally have been on the phone all week with individuals. It's beyond the asexual community, and when you speak out against one, others get hurt as well. So it's a very big community that was hurt, and I would hope that when you talk about demonstrating through action, that's not just words, so there's actually some action that you're going to take, and I hope that one of those actions is to step back from DIAC. If I had publicly said things against public libraries, I wouldn't expect to continue to sit on the public library board. I would do the right thing and step back from that. We have lots of people who are capable of leading any of our committees, and I think that would be an action that would demonstrate that you understand that you can't just expect people who were hurt to immediately forgive and forget based on words. But you said action. I want to see action, and that's one of the actions I would really, really like to see. It is up to the mayor, and the mayor's away right now, but when the mayor comes back, the mayor can choose to whoever she wants on whatever committee at any point in time, and that opportunity will be lost for you. So I would hope that while you have this opportunity and you see letters from the community asking that you not sit on DIAC, that you would heed that. It's a small ask to step back from that, and I really, that would demonstrate to me that you've learned the impact that your words had on the broader community. Thank you.
Councillor Johns, did you want to respond to that?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I just, I will say thank you, and I'm hearing you. And I just want to say that I will live with the outcome of the decisions that are made moving forward, whatever those decisions that may be.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments? Or shall we proceed to receive this course with Councillor Roy DiClemente?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have two pieces of correspondence asking us to take action. I feel that if I were in a similar position, I feel that my presence would be a distraction from the committee's work at best. And so it doesn't give me any pleasure, but I think at this point it may be appropriate for us to request that the mayor replace the liaison to DIAC for the remainder of the term. And I'm happy to move, not happy, I'm unhappy, disappointed, and sad to move receipt and to move that request.
Sorry, Councillor Carruthers, this was this is an amendment to your receipt. So
I'm
you were the
fine with that.
mover. I presume that Councillor Roy DiClemente, you're making an amendment to it? As seconding that. You're okay with the amendment? Can we have that up on the screen, Madam Clerk? Yep, take your time.
Through Mr. Chair, the proposed changes have been highlighted in blue on the screen before you.
All right, we have this before us now. Are there any last requests to comment? I will note for the public record that we were in receipt of a piece of correspondence. Council was 15 minutes prior to the meeting, which we will place on a future agenda, but it in that letter it did not call for Mr. Jones' resignation from DIAC. But all of council has read that and digested that.
No.
Sorry, I retract that. I withdraw that comment. I shouldn't have said that. Any other comments? All those in favor? Motion is carried. On to item number 2, correspondence from T. Coleman, President of PFLAG, York Region. I have a mover and a seconder for this, please. We've got Councillor Leahy seconded, Councillor Carruthers. Are there any comments? Councillor Roy DiClemente.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. both this and the other piece of correspondence on our agenda will need to be acknowledged by council. That's what I had said earlier.
Yes.
I think at this point, the correspondence, the response that would come from us would be simply to acknowledge receipt and advise the letter writers that the matter was considered here today and advise of the outcome.
Okay, I agree. Any other comments or
And
questions?
I'm happy to make a motion to direct staff accordingly.
Thank
I
you.
just want to make sure that I don't want staff to be put in an uncomfortable position.
Agreed.
To deal with this. This is awful enough.
Yeah, I agree on all counts. Okay, we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Carried. All right. Moving on to item I, notice of motion. Notice of motion provided by Councillor Johns regarding a bylaw review related to road hockey equipment and basketball net restrictions on municipal roads. Be it resolved that the notice of motion provided by Councillor Johns regarding bylaw review related to road hockey equipment and basketball net restrictions on municipal roads be included on the agenda for future meeting of council. I believe this was moved by Councillor Johns, seconded by Councillor Foster. Are there any questions or comments? We're just moving for a seat. Okay, all in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item J, reports, none at this time. K, bylaws. We have bylaw 2025-024, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2018-043, as amended, being a zoning bylaw, Kerbel Phase 3C, part of Lot 108, Concession 1, Town of East Gwillimbury, Regional Municipality of York, being part of PIN 03425-1355, and all of PIN 03425-1356. Be it resolved that that bylaw 2025-024 be taken and as read, enacted, and signed by the mayor and municipal clerk. And I have a mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Carruthers, seconded by Councillor Foster. All in favor? And that's carried. Other business? None at this time. Brings us to the confirming bylaw. Be it resolved that bylaw 2025-025, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on April 15th, 2025, be taken as read, enacted, and signed by the mayor and municipal clerk. And I have a mover and seconder for this, please. Councillor Leahy, Councillor Carruthers, all in favor? Carried. And be it resolved that the meeting of council adjourn at 6:28 p.m. And I have a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Councillor Roy DiClemente, seconded by Councillor Foster. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, folks, for the meeting tonight. And we will see you next time.